Welcome to this video series all about a Stuart major beam engine rebuild. This is part 1, the inspection. I'd like to apologise on this one for the state of my voice. I'm absolutely full of cold and I'm struggling to speak. My original intention today was to do a steam test on the horizontal engine that I've just finished rebuilding, but look at the weather outside, it's diabolical. So I think I'll give it a miss because I don't want pneumonia as well as a bad cold. But one must suffer for one's art, so here we go anyway. I featured this engine in a video some time back. It's been in my workshop now for well over a year, and finally I thought I'm going to have to get it done. It's just been sat there on the bench gathering dust. The video that I featured this engine in a while back was all about how not to buy a steam engine and what to look out for. And it's not to be confused in any way with the absolutely beautiful Stuart major beam engine built by Mr. Derek Fitzgibbon, who is a master craftsman. So while I've been trying to speak with my very bad cold, you have been watching some footage on screen showing some of the faults. And the first one, of course, is the beam is off centre. The second one is the pivot for the beam is off centre. And the third one is that the flywheel's all over the place as well. Now I'm not sure whether this is due to the crankshaft or a badly machined flywheel. Here I'm waving about the pedestal that this bearing should be resting on. But sadly, instead of using this correct part, the entire engine is just fixed to this rough looking box. Here I'm looking at one of the main bearings, the one that's supposed to be on the pedestal. What I'm going to do is loosen up this bearing and wobble it about and see whether it makes a difference to the concentricity of the flywheel. So now, as you can see, I can move this bearing about and see what happens at the edge of the flywheel. One thing that worries me about this engine is the fact that a flywheel of this size, and it really is quite huge, is just pinched to the crankshaft with a simple grub screw. I would have at least expected a keyway. But anyway, by moving the bearing about, I can change the concentricity slightly of the flywheel. But initially it's not looking good. It really does feel like it's not a tight fit on the crankshaft to start with. And the same goes for the pulley wheel. That's wobbling about also. Now, is the crankshaft bent? Is it just too small for the flywheel? This could be a slight problem for me, because this large flywheel will not fit in my lathe. Plus it appears to have been slightly over-machined. There isn't too much material left to remove if I do need to true up the flywheel. So for now I'll just nip up the bearing so that it doesn't work completely loose and drop off. And now again, as you can see, as I tighten down the bearing, the concentricity of the flywheel gets worse. I'm going to have the whole thing in pieces and have a close look at it in due course. Here I'm just having a play with the bearing. I've slackened off the nuts again, and I'm going to tap it with a hammer to see how far it moves. And as you can see, I am of course using a soft hammer to avoid damage to the bearing. And it moves a fair bit really, and the flywheel's concentricity changes very slightly. Yes, this is definitely going to be a problem. Throughout the video you've been seeing these spinning rings. These are showing problem areas on the engine. And here's a problem area. This is the bed plate, and it's badly machined. I don't quite know what's going on here. It's getting curiouser and curiouser. On the surface the engine's very well made, but it's not gone together very well. So with the help of my plastic boxes and my hammer securely away in its box, I'm about to take it apart. And then I'm going to take my medication. Thanks for watching and I hope you found it useful.